Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the show with the mighty. And I am your host, Dawn Lightamora. I am a self love coach and just wanted to give a big shout out to the mighty this morning for this opportunity again. I'm super excited to be here. I have many tools and tips to share today, and the topic is tools to cultivate your self awareness. And yeah, I had been sharing mostly like the last two lives I did around these topics, and it's mostly spiritual psychology curriculum that I'm pulling from. And the reason why I am an expert in my field around self care and self love, I'm a self love coach. And the reason why is because I've spent my whole life unraveling the mystery of pain and suffering that I experienced through abuse as a child. And it really led me on this path to discovering myself and my worth, who I am, what my gifts are, my offering to the world. And so I long to share these tools and tips to help you have breakthroughs in your world and in your life, because that's where it's at, right? It's not about my story. It's about what gifts do I have to offer you so that you can have the breakthroughs you're desiring. So here we go. A little bit of story, a little bit more about me. And I experienced a beautiful graduate program in spiritual psychology the last few years of my life with the University of Santa Monica. And it really floored me. It changed everything. I was able to really drop a lot of deep curriculum, soul curriculum that I had been struggling with my whole life. And I think that it was just a process that I was going through, like the healing journey, right? I'd been working my process for so long. And then here came USM, this spirit gift that really just opened me to the next level where I was able to finally lay it down. And so I'm just going to use this as an offering for you too, so that, take as many of these tools and tips that I share away today and really learn to work your process so that you too can have greater expansion, fulfillment, freedom, liberation from the things that you've perceived as possible suffering bullet points in your life, or possible things that have caused you issues, whatever it may be, and it's different for every person. Every person has, I love the concept spiritual curriculum, right? It gives us freedom to really let go of seeing it from the eyes and the lens of, you know, suffering, or that I can never have, why do they have, why can't I, kind of thing. And it's more along the lines of like, if I'm a soul and I came here to learn through this body and this experience, then I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. So I'm going to give myself permission to learn and to learn all these lessons that have come in the picture of maybe a difficult challenge, right? Challenge is always an opportunity. So if we can learn to see through the lens of opportunity, it really opens the gateway to really allow ourselves to fully embrace what it is we're learning. And we're letting go of judging ourselves, and we're letting go of thinking it needs to be a certain way, and really leaning into allowing it to, wow, what am I learning from this? What are we learning from quarantine right now? It's different for every person. And, for me, it's just been a deeper expansion of myself and like what I'm offering in the world. And that's been my place of learning. So I just invite you to ask yourself, what am I learning through this spiritual curriculum in my life? So the overarching theme today to cultivate tools of awareness are, um, I really want to just introduce the concept of learning to cleanse the lens of perception. So, if we always are seeing through the eyes of, limited perspective, right? Like sometimes that's rose colored glasses, if you've ever heard that term. So it really connotates like we can see through a set of glasses or a lens of perception, and it can be colored by our previous life imprints, life experiences from teachers, parents, siblings, you name it. And sometimes even soul curriculum that we've come here from other places, other times we've possibly lived, who knows? Or it could be familial conditioning from our bloodline, from our mother's bloodline or our father's bloodline. Who knows how long it's been in the DNA, and their experiences, right? So it's a really profound thing to lean in and get curious. Use curiosity as the gateway to explore yourself, to explore what is this in my life so I can make sense of it. Now, I really want to just invite in like any comments or anything that, questions you'd like me to answer. I have some back end support to really help me there here on this live. So I just want to address that and welcome that. So thank you for watching, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. So first tip on how to really cleanse the lens of perception is really diving into the first two principles of spiritual psychology. And the first one is seeing the loving essence. And that is learning to see yourself as loving essence, experiencing life, right? We're love. We don't have to do anything to arrive at love. We are love. So it's learning to let go of the barriers we've built inside against love, right? That perceptions that we've picked up along the way that maybe just are not ours, that we've been living out. Maybe it's like, you've been living out your mother's inability to fully express herself, or living out her inability to fully embrace life because you've always been told to sit down, shut up, all of that stuff, right? I'm not saying that to you, but that can be a real curriculum for someone in their childhood or their life experience. And so they go through life in this very, dimmed down way because they feel like they can't be fully expressed, right? So it's really learning to let go of these places we've held this conditioning, and we're seeing through that lens of believing about ourselves or thinking about ourselves, and it shows up in like a looping pattern of like what we tell ourselves. So it's really learning to bring greater awareness to how we're showing up in our life with the things that are challenging. So the first lesson, or first opportunity, not lesson, but the first principle in spiritual psychology is seeing the loving essence. And that is seeing the loving essence in yourself and seeing the loving essence in others, and learning to just be from a neutral place, letting yourself to observe, like, it's okay. This person in my life that may be challenging is coming as an opportunity. And maybe it's triggering. Yes. Like maybe they're coming and they're poking at you and they're saying something uncomfortable. And instead of being immediately reactionary, you can learn to lean in with curiosity and say, what can I learn from what they're saying? And maybe I can observe them from a place of love instead of triggered or reactionary or immediately jumping to that position, holding a position, and just being neutral and allowing yourself to observe, like, wow, that's interesting, your perspective, and because really the reality is we're not our body, we're not our mind, we're not our emotions. So we're consciousness. And if we can observe them as being consciousness too, and observe their behaviors, observe their ego patterns, observe what's going on for them as real for them, but you don't have to take it on. You're not responsible for it. It just gives you so much freedom to observe from a place of observation, of just neutral observation of like, wow, I'm loving essence, experiencing loving essence in this person. And they might be just having a limited perspective, or I might be having a limited perspective. Wow, where am I seeing through the lens of a limited perspective right now on my life? Maybe I'm seeing that I show up in anxiousness every time someone speaks to me. What about that? What is that? Whose pattern is this? Is it mine? Is it my dad's? Is it my mom's? Is it a learned behavior? What is this? So it's just a good thing to really start to ask yourself about all your behaviors, about how you're showing up in life and how you're showing up with the things that are most challenging. It's way easy to be open-hearted and feeling the love and the loving presence when there's no challenge, right? Because you just feel relaxed. You let your guard down, you feel relaxed, right? You're not being triggered or challenged. But the moments when we're challenged is when we're really present to like, wow, this is truly an opportunity to come alive inside of myself in a place that I've not had awareness. And that's what the opportunity is. It's like coming along like a little rough sandpaper to make you aware, like, I'm going to rub you right there so we can bring some awareness to that place that you've been withholding. And it's like we all have places we withhold from ourselves. And that's what the barrier is, right? And this is where the whole topic of learning to cleanse the lens of perception of where am I withholding from myself, right? Ultimately. So the next opportunity or like beautiful spiritual psychology principle is to learn to see and see the loving essence, but also hear the loving essence. So you're not only listening with your ears, and a lot of us can listen quickly, right? Like listen just to be aware, like you're already thinking about what you're going to say. So let that go and just choose to really observe and allow yourself to fully listen. What would it be like if I slowed down and allowed myself to be fully present to what that person is saying to me or what life is saying to me, hearing spirit inside of you, right? It's not only hearing the person outside of you speak to you, but it's hearing spirit inside of you. Whatever you want to call it, God, light, source, divine, spirit, right? It's all it's all life beckoning through you, right? Aliveness, the current of electricity that we're alive, we're consciousness. So, hearing from the loving essence, it's a beautiful way to just approach life. For these two principles lead the way. Really, it just changes everything when you can lead the way with loving essence. So just invite you to allow yourself to experience that, right? Give yourself permission that it's okay to change how you relate to yourself and the world with more love and peeling away the layers where you've withheld love from yourself and others. So it's our conditioning we're working with, our imprints we're working with that have affected our everything, and really bring in certain difficult situations so that you can learn about how it's showing up, polarity, right? Because it can show up in, the full spectrum of you experiencing the full side of things, from a limited perspective to a full expanded perspective, right? And yeah, so just want to share, it's learning to free ourselves from judgment, because judgment is what cleanses, like when we hold a judgment, we can't cleanse the lens of our perception because we're holding a strong positionality, because we're believing it hook, line, and sinker inside of our being. We're believing that, that's our truth when we hold a judgment against ourselves or someone else. And so it can really limit how we're seeing the world and limit how we're observing our world. And so I find that judgment can really hold us back. And sometimes we don't even know we hold a judgment because it was formed so young. And this is the thing about conditioning, it's a crystallized thought pattern in our ego structure or our mind. And it can really limit how we think about ourselves, how we view ourselves, how we view others. And really what judgment is it's pattern super glue. It just holds the deeply held misidentification of a pattern. And it's learning to lean in and get curious, where am I holding a judgment about myself or someone else that is limiting my life right now? Like, what is the limiting belief I hold creating this? Like, it's a beautiful question to ask yourself when you're struggling about anything, no matter what it is. If you can't get out of bed in the morning, like, what are the limiting beliefs that are holding me to not being able to get out of bed? What are the limiting beliefs holding me to my depression? Like, what judgments do I hold against my life? Am I believing that I can't move forward? Like, it's a really pivotal thing to ask yourself, what judgments do I hold? And the awareness, your consciousness is so much greater when you give it permission to move through you and to bring in the awareness. It's like you let go of blocking yourself from the clarity. You let go of blocking yourself from the awareness that is seeking to be expanded through you. It's always awaiting greater expansion in you, through your heart, through your mind, through your voice. But it's getting out of our way. And getting out of our way means clearing the judgments. So when we judge ourselves or others, we immediately become out of alignment with our loving essence. And when we are then allowing our ego or small self to be in the driver's seat. And so it's are we coming from the small self, or are we allowing the greater self to flow through? This is a huge question, and it's something to really, like, more and more as you practice self-awareness, self-cultivation of your tools, you learn to let go of this identifying with the small self, and you become more comfortable with allowing the greater self to come through, which is God, presence, source, whatever you want to name it and call it. It's totally okay to have your faith, whatever that is. And it's beautiful. So lean into that and allow, like, yourself to recognize, oh gosh, the judgments really are getting in my way. So what am I judging myself or this circumstance or situation or other person for? So what happens is it's a deep crystallization in the mind, a judgment, and it creates a pattern. And then it's like little building blocks. They just stack upon each other on itself, and it becomes harder and harder and harder to break free out of that crystallization in your mind, because it's become a looping pattern. Like, your brain has hardwired to believe that as your truth after a long time. And sometimes these things, like I said before, are formed in our consciousness so young, because it takes 7 to 8 years for the brain to fully, like, develop into cognitive experience, where you, as a young child, you don't have that cognitive ability to even, relate to life in that way, because your brain is forming. And sometimes the unconscious is imprinted with, you know, you hear certain things from your parents or whoever's around you talking about things, and you take it all in, and you make these decisions about life and about yourself based on what you experience. And then you go through life because it served you up until a certain point, because it's kept you alive, it's kept you safe. It was your ego forming safety patterns so that you maintained being alive. You maintained being able to get across the street and to live in your home, and not put your finger in the light socket and kill yourself, like all these kinds of things, right? So it helps you maintain aliveness, like literally survive in a body. And then as we get older, they don't function and work for us at our best. So it's really learning to let go of the things as we realize, you know what, this isn't serving me anymore. It kept me safe. It kept me in a place of being able to survive that circumstance and condition. Maybe it was a really challenging living experience you lived in for many years. And then you realized, like, wow, I formed all these types of beliefs to get me through that. And now they are not serving me to move forward. Like, now I'm more expanded, and there's the expanded part of me that wants to grow and move forward and live the life of my dreams, live what it's like to live without any anxious patterns, any depressive patterns, any place that I don't believe in myself anymore. And I can really lay that down for good. So it's learning to, allow your mind to go on a deep exploration of these types of patterns, that it's okay to explore that they're there. And it's okay giving yourself permission that I don't have to be perfect and I don't have to do it perfect, that it can be messy. And it's okay if my life is a bit messy, because I'm learning and I'm growing, and I give myself permission to learn and grow. Like, powerful to say this to yourself, that it's letting go of perfectionism and letting go of the judgments you're holding, that you have to do it perfect, or you have to be here now in the fullest expression perfectly. That's impossible. We've been given human experience to learn and grow through. So the soul, all that it cares for is to learn and grow. So that's what soul line opportunities are, soul curriculum, soul lessons, is we come here to learn about ourselves and about life, and to accomplish these deeper lessons and get through them and learn and grow, so we're empowered, so that we take that forward and we carry it forward as a gift that we give the world. Right? Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And I celebrate all of your wins that you're having in life right now through this quarantine. May it just be lifting soul curriculum left and right because you're listening, you're learning, and you're allowing. Powerful. Those three things: listening, learning, and allowing. Key elements to breakthroughs. Key elements to breakthroughs. And letting go of judgments. So the judgments create disconnect from tapping into our divine knowing and connection to our soul. And the best way to know how a judgment is that is there is to notice when you're triggered. So it's key. When you're triggered, it's yours, right? When someone else is triggered, it's theirs. You don't have to take it on. Really, when someone else is triggered, it's best to breathe really deeply and to drop into presence with them and just to help them acknowledge they're triggered and just to say, you know what? You're triggered right now. Or I'm triggered right now and I really want to know what this is. And I don't want to say anything out of love. I want to be in a loving conversation with you. And it's okay that you're triggered. It's okay that I'm triggered. Let's really lean in to get curious about what this is for us and meet again. It's a really powerful way to eliminate a fight or eliminate a conflict because triggers are okay. It's just what you do with it. And are you learning from it or are you stuck in it and defensive because you're defending a position inside of yourself that's an old structure, a structure or old concept or an old misidentification that you've just been holding on to as yours because you've never known it not to be. So that's powerful and profound. You know, when we really start to explore everything as an opportunity for our awakening. Everything in life is an opportunity for our awakening. The little things, the big things, all of it is an opportunity to awaken to our greater self that's inside of us, that's leading the way, leading our life forward, and creating the outer circumstances for you to grow and learn through. So lean in with curiosity. Let curiosity be your guide in life. Like hold curiosity's hand through life and joyfully move forward with allowing yourself to explore. So curiosity is really what helped me through my childhood and helped me through my becoming an adult and learning to let go of the abusive patterns that I had really held on to as, you know, attached to my worth and worthiness for a long time because, you know, I didn't know any better. And once I realized, like, that curiosity piece kind of came in and I started getting curious about, well, why do I believe that? And what is this? You know, with that like kind of deep question, like ruffled brow kind of thing, like, is this my truth? That's a really powerful way to ask yourself, is this my truth? Like, what do I believe about myself? And what did I believe that's really not serving me anymore? Like, that's, the greatest question you could ask yourself. Because when you ask yourself what is serving you, that's allowing your higher self to come through and answer. Like the greater part of yourself that's leading the way, that's connected to God, that's streaming God, that's giving God permission to come in. Like, is this situation serving my life for greater awakening? Or is it limiting me? And am I limited here? And what are my limiting beliefs? What are my limiting beliefs? Wow. It's a really good thing to ask yourself. So I've kind of done this my whole life, and it's really led me to like amazing breakthroughs and really deep realizations of like curriculum falling away. Like a big one that's coming forward for me that just is really coming forward in the last like week. It's just been about, I'll share a personal thing. It's been about my mom and my mom's journey as a child and how her journey has been inside of me on some levels, and I've taken on her journey as my own in places. And it was like a huge aha moment to realize, like, wow, I was relating to my marriage a little bit through this limiting perspective, and I was relating to my business in certain ways just by a certain like subtle. It wasn't even like a real. It's very subtle, and I had to really tune in and observe, like, that's my mom's beliefs. I really could feel it. And so I've spent the week doing forgiveness on that and really allowing myself to heal and grow in places that didn't feel comfortable. And I'm really proud of myself because it was so subtle. It was like the underlying current that I just was so used to it that it didn't know any different, right? And it's like that subtlety that you're so used to it being there that it's like you're comfortable with the thorn in your finger not knowing it's there. And so we've got to open our awareness to observing, huh, maybe there are some things that I need to explore that are really limiting the way I'm showing up. Yeah. So it's not needing to fix anything. You're you're whole and complete. You're just on a discovery of greater self-awareness. And the things that have been in the way are now falling away. And give yourself permission to believe that and to know that and to lean into that it is falling away, that I am aware, that I'm cultivating my awareness every day in every way. I'm cultivating my awareness. I'm cultivating greater awareness in every way, in all the places that I've withheld from myself. In all the places that I felt stuck, I cultivate awareness and curiosity to learn about these places inside that no longer serve my greater awakening. I'm willing to see it. I'm willing to feel it. I'm willing to show up for myself 100% in the places that have been tough. And I'm willing to explore what's holding me back. Just giving yourself permission is profound. Profound. I'm so happy you guys are here with me. Whoever you may be, I'm so happy you're here and watching and listening. I send you so much love and gratitude for the mighty for this show, because I really feel like the tools I'm sharing today help each and every one of us to elevate our mind and get out of our own way in life so that we can really serve and live from a place of fulfillment, because we're all seeking liberation and fulfillment in our life. Every soul wants liberation, happiness, joy, quality of life, the best life we can live. The best life we can live, right? We're all going for that. There's not one single person that isn't. And I'm here to anchor that. I'm here to live into that. I'm here to help you to live into that. That's what I do as a coach. I'm like, let's go on a deep dive to explore, where are the places that you're hiding from? Where are the places that you're held back? Let's look at it. Where are you holding back from love? In yourself, because it's just an outer reflection. The inside what creates the outside. It's not the other way around. So it's really about, where am I holding deep conditioning that's creating this outer circumstance that I'm struggling against and creating resistance against and pushing away. It's like when we're pushing against the resistance, we're fighting with it. But when we lean in with curiosity and let go of that pushing and that need to control and that need to, fight against what feels not right in our life, when we let go and realize, you know what, it doesn't feel good. And I'm okay with that. It can feel crunchy. It can feel not good. It can feel like, shit, this sucks. Right? Like, there's just things that happen, excuse my French, but there are things that happen are just downright horrible. And we have to experience it. And it's when we're in that horrible energy is when the most breakthroughs can happen. Don't run away from it. Don't hide from it anymore. Let go of avoiding. Like, I was working with a client this week actually around a pattern of avoiding. It's like all her life she's been avoiding and hiding and like doing everything to not fully be present. And it's like, how much longer are you going to live your life in avoidance? Like, that's painful. Avoiding yourself, avoiding the opportunities to learn about who you are. Like, that's deeply, deeply painful to show up in life in avoidance. And so, if that's going on for you, I really want to invite you to tell yourself, I am willing to no longer avoid. I can really lean in with curiosity and handle the difficult places that I'm experiencing and feelings I'm experiencing, because it's just, life is bringing you an opportunity to reawaken those places you've stuffed, all those hard situations and difficult emotions that you weren't willing to feel fully when you experienced it when you were younger, or whatever time period it was. And each time period that we experience some challenge creates conditioning that comes back around for us to meet at different stages of our life. So we're constantly doing this. This is the work of letting go of misidentifications. It's a life journey of letting go of misidentifications. I think we just get better and better and better at it as we explore it. All right. So, moving on, the next tip is self-forgiveness. So, I love this one because it's powerful, and I feel like it's so simple and we don't give ourselves permission to do it. I think we dance around it. We do everything except this. And I notice this with my own clients. Like, it's so simple. And even myself, for many, many years with my own father, like, the hurt was so deep and the pain was so deep that I couldn't even arrive at a place of forgiveness because I had to understand it first. I had to understand it all before I really allowed myself to forgive. And that might be where you're at. And if that's okay, that's okay. It's okay to be there. And give yourself permission to know that you're on a journey of understanding it. And that one day by day, moment by moment, breath by breath, you will uncover it. Give yourself permission. Like, that's the first step, is just acceptance, right? Acceptance of the difficult things that we need to forgive. And then from there, it opens the doorway to forgiveness. So acceptance is the key to allowing forgiveness in. And we can't bypass it. Acceptance is key. So giving yourself permission to have acceptance for the things that you have struggled with your whole life. And that was key for me. Like, accepting that it was shitty, accepting that he never showed up for me, accepting that he would never love me in the way I wanted him to love me, accepting that he didn't even understand love, my own father. And that's okay. He's learning. Like, when I could see it from the eyes of a spiritual scientist and spiritual perspective, that he came here in this body to experience learning to love himself for the first time, maybe. And I was the beautiful blessing in his life that helped him in that way, and scared him greatly and triggered him really greatly. But I didn't make it have to mean that I had to dim my light. And I did that for many years. I allowed it to dim my light where I didn't show up. I played small. I hid. I avoided because I was so terrified of fully showing up, because I was shamed, wronged, condemned every time my light expanded, because it scared the crap out of my dad. So it built within me a condition in my mind, and a judgment I held against myself and a judgment I held against him, where I felt that I had to play small to survive. And I don't know if you're doing that, but that's what I did. And that's what I help my clients break through, because it's not about playing small. We can't hide from ourselves, and we can't hide from God, and we can't play small. It never serves us. So where are the areas you're doing this in your life, is what I'm asking you. Where are the areas you can explore and allow yourself and give yourself permission to explore that you've even done this, or that you've been so unconscious possibly that you don't even know you're doing it, and bring in greater awareness. Like, put it in your bedtime intention to pray to spirit, to create breakthroughs in your awareness of the places you've not been aware. Like, whoa, powerful that you can ask for this. And you can ask for clearing at night when you sleep. Clear the patterns I'm struggling with. Please, please, God, lift these patterns from my consciousness that I'm struggling with now. Like, work with it in your bedtime intention. Spirit is always seeking to assist us for our breakthroughs. We just need to give it permission. So it's big. It's so big. I don't know why I needed to share that. Someone needed to hear that today, what just moved through me around playing small, because that wasn't even on the radar for me today, and it came through. So I hope that is an awakening for someone that heard that needed to hear that today, because it wasn't even on my agenda, but it came through. So I'm really thankful, because it was what I was doing most of my life. Like, I took jobs that didn't serve me. I had people in my life that didn't serve me, because I was playing small, and I was always wanting to people please, because it was made so, I just wanted to do everything so everything felt okay all the time. And that's just not possible, because I wanted to avoid conflict and confrontation. I was running from it because it was so painful to feel it and experience it, because I was subjected to so much of it as a child, like just pushed on me, that I felt like anytime an authority figure or someone in their power came forward, I was challenged by it because I wasn't in mine. And so the truth of the matter is you either stand inside of your story in life and you fully own it. You own your hero's journey, because we all have one. We all have a journey we go on of awakening, and it's a hero's journey, and it's painful. There are parts that are very, very painful. I'm not dismissing the pain, the suffering at all, because it's there. It's real. But your soul has chosen specific lessons to grow and learn through it. So it's leaning in and allowing ourselves to experience it and not running away from it anymore, choosing not to avoid it, and to fully show up and say, you know what, it's painful, but I'm going to give myself to permission to be present right here, right now, not run away inside of myself, or not physically run away in life anymore. I'm showing up no matter how challenging it is. And when you start to do this, you start to face all parts of yourself that you've hid from. And that is where the magic happens. You're way out of your comfort zone, way, way out of it, because you're living into your authentic expression at this point. You're willing for that authentic self to come forward and break away and break through the places in the conditioning in your mind that have been holding these patterns and creating, we call them in spiritual psychology stackers. And I love this. It's like, I'm going to keep stacking on the issues and packing it on and stacking it on. And it's like, we've all felt it when, like, when it rains, it pours, that expression. So that is an expression of stacking, like one thing after another. Just when you think it couldn't get any like crazier, and like the circumstances are like, holy cow, how could it get any more nutty than it is? And it's just like one thing after another. That is stacking, because there's like deep curriculum really wanting to break through, and spirit is just stacking, 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 pressure, 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 to you create like a freaking amazing awakening. Because like that, I can use me as an example. So I had stackers going on when I was in graduate school. Like, I stepped into graduate school and I initiated, like, I set an intention to break through my conditioning for good. Like, I wanted to use my experience with my dad, the most difficult relationship I had in my life, for my awakening. And I made that an intention, and I said, I'm willing to see it all, every piece of it, all of it now, and get through it. Well, man, did I create an initiation for myself, and it was powerful. I spent 2 years of nonstop stackers. Like, everything that could have gone wrong in my life did, from like my savings going away to like debt stacking to having like fires coming and making me move. Then my owner, the house I moved into there, the owner dying, and I had to move. I move. Like it was just unearthing and unearthing every trauma that happened to me in my childhood, so that I could really face it, see it, look at it, observe it, and allow it to let it go and heal it. And what I was doing was not only healing for myself, but I was healing deeply my family lineage and my family conditioning that was basically given to me in my DNA, of like, I think, deep oppression. It was like I was busting through lifetimes of suffering and oppression that I felt. I know for a fact, because I really did see images in my meditations and images in my workings when I was doing trios and I was doing processes in school to work my process. I literally felt like oppression, like deep sorrow, sadness, anger, oppression lifting from my consciousness. And I know it did. And it's interesting because my dad literally passed away as soon as school was done with me. It's like our contract was complete on a soul level. He felt complete to go because he needed to do that, because that's how his soul needed to evolve. And maybe I just wish for him that he's born into the arms of love and just loves himself completely the next go around, because he deserves that, because he is love. And I'm so deeply proud of myself that I was able to show up at his bedside before he passed with nothing but compassion for him. I didn't feel incomplete inside myself at all. And here's a man that beat me till I bled. Like, that is a profound thing that I experienced on every level. And I just want to know, like, I'm being so vulnerable right now because it was so profound that I was able to do that. And I just love my dad so much. And I'm just so grateful. I moved to tears because here it is here, the self-forgiveness piece, right? I was able to lay down any deep identification that I held around self-forgiveness and not forgiving myself for what I made it mean about me, that I made it mean that, I was wrong or bad. And I wasn't. I never was. I was showing up as love and loving presence. And like, that was such an awakening, and it lifted so much from my consciousness when I realized I never did anything wrong, that I was loving essence, and that's okay. And I just was able to see him from a whole nother angle. And like, I wasn't looking through the eyes of I'm oppressed and he's my oppressor. It like dropped that whole curriculum. It just shifted and vanished and disappeared. And I was able to see him as love and see him that, yes, he was never able to accept me, but he was doing the best he knew how. And it's okay that it doesn't dismiss what he did, and it completely, because it was not okay what he did. But at the same time, like, he didn't know any better and he was deeply checked out. So I don't know why I'm sharing all of this today, because I've moved through it and healed myself, but I really do want to say that I feel I'm sharing it because it's helping someone out there. And if you've suffered oppression and deep, patterns of it, let it lift from your consciousness that you don't have to see yourself as a victim in life at all. No one is a victim in life. We all have opportunities for awakening and to claim our consciousness and to claim our sovereignty and to claim our freedom. So I just want to invite you to, when you are holding judgments against yourself through the deeper conditioning that's come, self-forgiveness is the key. And how you do it is just say, I forgive, identify your judgment, whatever it may be. I forgive myself for the judgment of blank, whatever it may be. I forgive myself for identifying my life through the eyes of oppression. I forgive myself for the pattern of blank. I forgive myself for holding myself in the pattern of blank. I forgive myself for the pattern of anxiety. I forgive myself for seeing through the lens of anxiety. I forgive my parents, whoever they may be, for the limiting identifications of blank. This is profound. It lifts it. So just wanted to share that piece because that's how you heal it. And it's really becoming using the art of being present with anything. It's showing up in our fullness. And this is the thing. We all desire to be fully self-expressed. Like, this is a profound, profound thing. Every soul desires to be fully self-expressed. And it's those areas inside that we're holding ourselves hostage, where we don't want to feel into because there's pain there, or there's something difficult that has happened that we're not able to feel yet because we're waiting. Maybe we're waiting for the circumstances to be right. We're waiting for the timing to be right. And the thing is the outside is never going to show up and be right until you lean in and give yourself permission to. The inside is what shifts the outside. And we have to take responsibility to do so. We have to claim it for ourselves. We can't wait around for it to happen for us. Like, no one's going to bring in a magic wand and wave it over your head and say you're complete with all your curriculum now. No, it's a day by day, step by step, baby step your way through it. And when you start to give yourself permission to baby step in life towards your dreams, towards your goals, towards your awakening process, and lean in and ask yourself, what is my soul line curriculum? Because there's the ego, the goal line of life, which is more ego based, right? Get married, buy a car, have the perfect life, the white picket fence, the whole jam, right? Like, we're all, the ego wants that, like the fancy schmancy everything, right? And But then, you see it in people where they cultivate that and then they still feel something's missing. And that's what it is. It's the soul line lessons. And when we start to really lean in and ask ourselves, what are the soul line opportunities that I've come here to learn and grow through? And when you start to lean in and get curious about that, it's like they line up. Like the soul line is straight ahead and the goal line is here. And it's like you begin to line them up. So then guess what? Like then the goal line of life starts to become really fun because you're leaning in and you're working your soul line process. And then the goal line stuff starts to come into your life that you never imagined, like the fancy things that you never felt you could have, but now it's like showing up because you're really aligned and listening from the heart and doing your soul's work. So I just want to praise each of you for being on here and watching and listening, because this is challenging to do. There's a lot. It's not for the faint of heart. It's the brave souls that are willing to lean in and get clear and do it and say, I'm going to overcome anything that's challenging in my life because I know I can. And that's profound, because there are some souls that, and it's not wrong or bad. That's just where they are in their consciousness. It's all different levels of consciousness we're experiencing simultaneously on the planet. And nothing is wrong or bad. It's all okay. It's just consciousness and wanting to expand through itself. So it's giving each person permission to be where they are and love them through it and bring greater presence and awareness to every situation. Every person, every place, every circumstance, every situation, bring greater loving presence to it. And this is it. This is a tip of like, how can I be more present with what is right now? Like, and it's the breath. Bring more breath to it. Slow down. Listen more. Listen. Give yourself permission to just do a meditation or sit in the sun or allow yourself to feel deeply where you've not allowed yourself. Yeah. And another really big thing I feel that is really, we're not taught this a lot of families and in life. I mean, some people are, and this is tip 7 on my list, but and I shared the other tips, the beginnings at the other webinars that I did for the Mighty. So I kind of skipped forward on my list so that I could share the new ones. So self-praise is what I'm speaking about. And I feel that self-praise is, we don't give ourselves permission to do it enough. And what is self-praise? What does it look like? Do you praise yourself? Do you look yourself in the mirror? And when you're in the mirror in the bathroom, do you look yourself in the eyes and praise yourself for how far you've come and for what you've accomplished in your life and literally the breakthroughs that you've had? Have you given yourself full permission to praise yourself and really acknowledge, like, wow, I'm amazing. I made it through that. Like, that was profound. That was so challenging and so crazy. And I didn't think I was going to make it through. And, I mean, my husband and I, we went through a really challenging time in our life where we lost our home and I had just had a child, and it was crazy. It was a crazy time. And it was really an opportunity to really unearth all that difficult, curriculum that I held in my mind around, that I couldn't feel safe in a home because I never did as a child. And so that's what that was for me, my side of the street. And it really gave me an opportunity to take responsibility for all of that and really deeply explore what it was. And so after I've made it through all of that and I've cultivated a new home and broken through all of that deeply, ucky misidentifications that were, childhood curriculum, I was able to just lean in and go, gosh, wow, I really want to pat myself on the back because that was the hardest experience. And I didn't make it mean that I had to divorce my husband. I didn't make it mean that I was wrong or bad, that it was happening. I didn't make it mean that I, couldn't do it again or couldn't create my dream again. I leaned in and allowed myself to heal through it and be okay with it being messy at the time. And now my life doesn't look messy. Like, I'm stable. I have a home and a loving husband. We've, worked through the issues, and, not to say that it's perfect because we're still working through stuff, and, but there's this loving presence that's always there and a curiosity to know that no matter what, I can rise to the occasion and be present and bring self praise into it and praise him more and praise the ones I love in my life more for where they're at and deeply acknowledge. Like, have you ever given yourself permission to acknowledge someone for what their gifts and strengths are and give acknowledgement to your own gifts and strengths? Like, gosh, maybe someone's suffering right now from a major anxiety, and that's big. It's like really stressful to experience anxiety on an ongoing basis, and or depression. And have you ever just thought, I want to praise myself for this is a really deep curriculum I've been working with for many, many years, and I want to praise myself for showing up. I want to praise myself for never quitting, even when it's the toughest. I want to praise myself for how I've learned more self care through this. I want to praise myself for how I can give myself permission to be okay with it being messy. Like, I want to praise myself for that it's lessened and that it's on the way out. I want to praise myself for that it's loosening in my consciousness and that I'm learning. Yeah. I don't know if that helps someone, but I hope it does because I do know it does. And I'm gonna let go of saying I don't know because it's true. I do know it does. And if I'm speaking to you, God bless you. And if I'm, assisting you in a way to work with your process in a new way, then God bless you on your journey and may it open greater. And I just want to invite in that clarity, into your mind that you can have the clarity to work your process. And I guess gosh, the time flies so quickly. It's so interesting how that works. So it's 51 minutes into the hour already. And so I really want to just talk about gratitude. And it's my last tip for the day. And may the takeaway be gratitude because, what are you grateful for right now? Like, gratitude is such a powerful moving force and energy. It's like we can't be in fear and gratitude at the same time, right? We can't be in fear and love at the same time. So choose to be stand inside of yourself in the side of love and gratitude. Like, let that be the awakening force inside, and sit down if you're struggling with something and you're not feeling awakened or inspired or clarity. Maybe just sit down and make a gratitude list. It can shift you out of that struggling place so quickly. I've done this many times in my life, and now I don't even need to sit down with a pen. I just put my hand on my heart and go through a streaming rampage of gratitude. I love doing that. Like, what am I grateful for right now? Gosh, I'm grateful for my health. I'm great. There's always things we can be grateful for. And I feel that when we give ourselves permission to lean into gratitude, it really opens the door for more abundance and gratitude to flow in because we're acknowledging that energy it's an energy of the universe. Everything is created. God loves when we praise and gratitude, like, just loves it. Like, all right, great, you're in gratitude. Well, we can bless you with more gratitude and more amazing things because you're acknowledging it, right? You're not ignoring it. You're not like focused on this one icky thing over here, and you're broadening your perspective and you're allowing gratitude to really take hold in your life and root into you. That, what, I can let gratitude be my practice daily, moment by moment. I can let gratitude be the energy I ride on in life. Like, I allow my life force to be linked up with energy of gratitude, like, powerful and major transformative. Like, it anchors it into your existence and into your consciousness. So what is your gratitude practice? Do you have a gratitude journal? Do you write gratitude sayings, statements? Do you flood yourself with gratitude? Like, I'm so grateful for, and it's good to do it in the morning, like right when you wake up, like just flood yourself with love and gratitude. Like, it's an opportunity to be alive. What presence, like, what amazingness, what gifts, what, like, it's our sacred gift to give God that acknowledgement of, like, thank you. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for another day on this planet in this body to like live my truth and to live God's presence and truth through this vessel. Like, thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like let it be a dance through you. Like every movement, everything is a prayer of awakening, a prayer of gratitude. Like just so humble in the preciousness of this life, because every soul has precious gifts. Every soul has areas of awakening, and every soul has awakened souls in their life that are just there waiting for them to say, hey, how are you? Like, who are those people in your life that you could give more acknowledgement to and more gratitude to? Who are they? Because you know who they are. So I just invite you to show up for them a little more. Like, say, you know what? I'm going to call so and so today and just say, you know what? I'm thinking of you. And I want you to know I love you and I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. Like, get out of your own way, because when you start to support others, more support shows up for you. That's just a natural byproduct of it. Start to support others and more support shows up for you. It's just a beautiful way of initiating support in your life. If you want more support in your life, initiate it in another's life. That's how it goes. If you want more gratitude in your life, initiate it in another's life. If you want more breakthroughs in your life, initiate it in another's life. Like, it's so key. Like, it's the art of giving. It's so beautiful. I love giving, because when you give to yourself, and it just opens the door. So it balances that energy of giving and receiving in your life, where you felt you haven't received, or you're not getting your needs met, or you're not getting what you need. Get out of your own way and say, how can I be resourceful for myself? How can I resource my needs and not wait on anyone to give them to me? And how can I get out of my own way and help meet someone else's needs? What are the other person's needs? What are my needs, my core needs? Like, safety is a big one. I think it's up right now in quarantine, like safety. So acknowledge, like, wow, I can be safe no matter what. No matter what is happening in my world, I choose to be safe because I can anchor safety inside my being. It's not outside, it's inside, right? So powerful and profound. So I just wanted to speak about giving and gratitude, letting that energy like overcome you in your life, and that you can make it through anything challenging. You can make it through anything and pursue your dreams with gratitude. Let gratitude open the door to the life you want, and claim it for yourself. Like, claim your life. It's yours. No more waiting, no more hiding. It's yours. And gratitude opens the door to this. So I just want to thank the mighty for today. And I just love, 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 love this. And if you're inspired by what I said, I coach people daily on these topics and things. Please find me, self-love coach, Dawn Lightamora on Instagram, at Self Love Coach Dawn Lightamora on Instagram, Dawn Light on Facebook, and Self Love Coach Dawn Lightamora on Facebook. Also, reach out. I would love, love, love to support you. If you need more coaching, please find me. And thank you, the mighty, for this opportunity today to serve and give. And just, I love, love, love this work. I love helping people make breakthroughs. I live for it. It feels so freaking good when someone's life changes. And I assisted that. The energy of spirit assisted that through me. And I just love it. And I love you. And I hope you have an amazing week, and elevate your mind, cleanse your consciousness, use the tools, work your process. You're magical. I believe in you. So have an amazing week. Mwah. Thanks so much.